Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to call us to order. I have the honor this afternoon of introducing the chair of our NEASC Site Visit Committee, Dr. Jacqueline Mahoney, who is currently the chancellor at UMass Lowell, and she's going to introduce the rest of the committee to us. But please join me in welcoming the chair of our formerly NEASC, now NEASC Site Committee, Dr. Jacqueline Mahoney.
Thank you, Peter. And on behalf of the committee, I would like to thank all of you on campus for giving us such a warm and gracious welcome. We know how much work is involved. As you know, you have prepared a self-study, which is a 10-year comprehensive review of the progress that your institution is making along the standards organized by NEASC, to just check in on the progress, where you are. Obviously, like many universities in the country, Central Connecticut is going through a lot of changes and transitions. It's something that we are all engaged in. And as you know, these self-studies and this accreditation is a peer review. So as you hear from my colleagues, the institutions that they represent, their expertise and the work that they're doing on their own institutions helps to inform the kinds of questions and review we'll be conducting on campus. As we go forward today, really, this is a big room and a big audience, but we would love to have an open, honest dialogue. We'll start if you have any questions for us, but also the committee has done a lot of work already meeting with members of your campus, reviewing the self-study, and they have some questions that they may have from you. But I'm going to start by asking my colleagues to introduce themselves, and maybe Dr. Chen, you could begin.
I'm Chen, currently working at Salem State University as the Executive Director for Strategic Planning and Decision Support. Primarily, I will be responsible for Standard 2 planning and evaluation. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Janine Uz, and I'm the Provost and Vice President for Academic Affairs at the University of Southern Maine in Portland. And I'm primarily responsible for Standard 3, Governance and Organization.
I'm Sharon Scott. I'm the Dean of Administration and Chief Financial Officer for Northern Vermont University, and I am responsible for Standard 7, Institutional Resources.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm Michael Young. I'm Senior Associate Provost and Chief Data Officer at Bridgewater State University, and I'm primarily focused on Standard 8 on educational effectiveness.
Good afternoon. I'm Kara Turner, Vice President for Enrollment Management and Student Success at Morgan State University in Baltimore, Maryland, and I am principally over Standard 5 students.
My name is David Espinosa. I'm Professor and Chair of History at Rhode Island College, and my primary responsibility is Standard 6, Teaching, Learning, and Scholarship.
My name is Dan Reagan. I'm at the University of New Hampshire at the Manchester campus. I'm the Associate Dean of Academic Affairs, and my area is the academic program.
Okay, thank you to the team members, and we'd like to again thank the committee who prepared the report, which is the basis for our visit here. Obviously, the report was written and submitted a number of months ago, so I think one of the things that we're hoping to hear about today is progress that's being made, also your views on how included in the process. I think key for NEASC, and obviously for all of us in higher education, is that feeling that we're all fully engaged in the governance and future of our institutions. So that's something that we're checking on with everyone, and so we're going to open it to the floor. This session is being streamed, and so we're going to ask if you have questions. If you wouldn't mind stepping forward to the mic and sharing your question that way. If you're uncomfortable and would rather just call that out from the floor, I could always repeat the question for you. And if you could just identify yourself and what part of the campus you represent, that would also be helpful. So let's just put it out to the floor first, if there are any questions or comments. You can even tell us how much you love Central Connecticut State University. Okay, then I'm going to ask the team to see if we can do a couple of warm-up questions to get you warmed up. And honestly, then if you have any questions or comments or interests that you want to express to us, we're all ears. Anyone have a question for this wonderful group here that took time out of their busy schedules to be part of this forum?
Here's always the good startup question. What would you identify as the best part of this institution? What would you identify as the biggest challenge of this institution? And that's a general question, but you're all on the ground, so we'd be interested to hear.
Good job. That's courage. And again, if you wouldn't mind just introducing yourself and where you're from on the campus.
Chris Larson. I teach astronomy in the Geological Sciences Department, and I'm a proud alum of CCSU. So I've spent most of my life here, and I can't think of anywhere else I'd actually rather spend it. You guys actually had me at the question, what do you love about being at Central, but I couldn't get up here fast enough. The best part of CCSU is our students. You hear all about the demographics of our students, but every student has their own story. Every student has their own challenges. Every student has their own dreams. And it's our job to help them realize those dreams and to get over their challenges and take them where they are and bring them to where they want to be. And so I'm really happy to get here every day and do that. And so I think that that is the best part, is that we're very student engaged. We have relatively small classes. We can work one-on-one with students. We do a lot of research projects with students. Many departments here do research projects with students. And I know in my department, a number of our students have presented at professional conferences and have been mistaken for graduate students, even though they're undergraduates, because of the quality of their research and their confidence and their poise. And so that's like the best part of my job. Challenges, I think you know about the economics in the state of Connecticut and the uncertainty. You know, we have a governor's race coming up that's really important. So I think that the challenges, we're not really sure what the challenges are going to be. It depends upon really what happens with the election. So.
Great. Thank you. But that was a great start. Thank you.
I'm Drew Harris. I'm a professor of management in school business, and I'm currently the acting associate dean in school business. I've been here 13 years. So since Chris already talked about our great students, and I think it's a reason why a lot of us are here, is that we love this kind of student. But I would say that one of the best things for me about being here are my colleagues. And I'll give a little context for this. When I left, so I've taught at 5 different colleges, either as an adjunct or full-time faculty, 2 other places full-time and a couple places adjunct. So I've seen other places, and when I left my last full-time job where I was tenured to come up here, the president, who was from Connecticut, said, "Oh, CCSU, you're not going to be as happy as you were here," and she was dead wrong. I mean, the students are better prepared than the students I had down there, but my colleagues are really remarkable people. I've had the good fortune to sit in on some classes. It's one of the perks. I get to go do that, and the quality of teaching that they provide is really wonderful. They're great to collaborate with. So I probably know half or more of the people in the room here and have done things with them, either where we've done our classes together and created something as synthesis, or we've done projects where we're trying to help each other. We, announce what other people are doing in other places, and they're just cool people. Chris Larson has this program where kids come and do things in the science building at a young age. I had young daughters when I first moved here, and we came and did these extraordinary Harry Potter in the observatory, you know, there's all this stuff with constellations, and my kids just loved it, you know, and influential perhaps in one of them pursuing science now in her college career. So one of the really fabulous things here are our colleagues. And, you know, I don't know, there was something about challenge. Did you ask about challenge? I mean, there are some institutional impediments to some of the collaborations we'd like to do. You know, just trying to figure out how we can do things like have cross-disciplinary courses and really, you know, cross silos. That may be a limitation of my imagination, but I have perceived there have been some challenges with that. Scheduling classes that could meet together. So I sometimes I've partnered with one of my colleagues in engineering where we've tried to do projects across different courses, and we've had to move our schedules around, and that's not always as easy as it might sound, but you know, it doesn't stop us from doing it anyway. We've done some really fun things. So, my colleagues.
Thank you for those comments. Do other folks want to share with us?
I'm Dr. Cliff Anderson. I teach in the civil engineering program at the Department of Engineering, and I've been here now like 14 years. I started out with a new program because we just started our civil engineering program before we were a technology program in 2009, and we had our first graduates in 2012, excuse me, and so we're a new program. You're going to find there's a lot of new programs here. We're getting started. So it's been welcoming to get things started. The school is willing to go out to we're so much different than we were 10 years ago. And that's been great, and our population is growing. We have an established whole team of advisory boards from industry that are working with all our engineering programs. They've been extremely useful, and so our advisory boards and so forth for various programs are really one of the strengths we have. And that's really helped us move forward and keep our students focused and so forth. The challenge is we're growing. We're growing now where we have faculty to cover all our classes, but now we're getting to the point where our classes are 30, 32, 34, and we're either going to have to change how we teach or expand our faculty to accommodate that, or restrict enrollment. And so that's a challenge that growth is bringing, particularly with new programs. And we're different than some of the traditional programs, and yet we're growing. So we have new resource demands and so forth just because of the programs we're starting. And I think that's across the campus.
Thank you for those comments.
Good afternoon. My name is Will de Brasco, and I direct the Educational Opportunity Program that's been here for 50 years. The EOP program has a legacy in the Connecticut State Universities as being one of the richest programs for supporting low-income first-generation students. And I could allude to it because I was a product of the program back in 1980 here at Central. And it's a joy to be able to give back what was given to me as a student. Like, we've got a lot of alumni here. But one of the successes of our program is that, along with Central, under the leadership of our president, is that we've brought in a lot of pathway to colleges to low-income first-generation students who are needy of having access to education, and also involving parents, which is so important in the lives of these youngsters. In addition to that, what the successes have been is that our students are able to have that opportunity of coming in through higher education, and those opportunities, like I said earlier, that their parents don't have an idea. You know, college is not taught in the kitchen table. You know, they have to find means to get the meals on the table, et cetera. And so that has been a success here at Central. In addition to, we're looking into enhancing our numbers to bring in more low-income first-generation students into our institution. So hopefully that's something that we're working hard in, along with the support that we have with the students that are coming in from Puerto Rico after Hurricane Maria. There has been a big support with those students that are here with us at Central. What are the challenges? That's a good question. The challenges are, this morning I was with 3 of my students, work in life, work in college. I sat with a student, she's working 35 hours a week and maintaining a 12 credit hour, and she's a biology major. So what does that say? So she has to help her parents, pay the bills and bring in food to her and support her siblings, etc. So that has been a big challenge in listening to our students and the support that we try to give them. And then I want to add back to, the challenges. Of course, it was mentioned earlier, the financial aid. We want to be able to package them and give them the hope that they can graduate, knowing how much they're going to be without being so much in debt when they graduate. And also, the success of our students is basically the support of our local communities, our faculty here, and the leaders that provide scholarships to this generation of students. So I just wanted to brag about that. But thank you so much for your time.
Can I ask you a quick follow-up? I'm interested in your comment about the students from Puerto Rico who have come here. Can you give me a sense of numbers or?
Yes, please. I'm directing it to Dr. Serafin Mendes.
Good afternoon and welcome to Central. The program that Wilda referred to, it's called the Air Bridge Program, and 14 days after the hurricane hit Puerto Rico, we realized that there were a huge number of students that had been displaced. Most of the campuses had been closed. So President Toro moved immediately and talked to the Board of Regents, and they issued an authorization so that those students could come to Central for, immediately paying in-state tuition. She raised a significant amount of dollars, and we were able to bring 23 students within basically 3 weeks of the hurricane having hit Puerto Rico. We took advantage of the second semester 8 course, so we gave them a condensed session up until December, and then most of them stayed for the spring semester, and most of them have stayed on at Central. We already graduated 2 students. In total, I think that we have served closely to 30 students, and it has been a huge success. And that's one of the opportunities that Central affords us, the opportunity to be able to be fast, to deliver innovative programs, to be engaged with not only our local community, but national and international communities, and have a flexibility to continue, providing a quality education for all of them. Challenges. As my colleague Chris Larson said, we come from a state that basically public education has suffered a lot throughout the years, and we constantly have to struggle to find the funding to keep offering the wonderful opportunities that we can offer. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Martha Cruey. I'm the MA Reference Instructional and Assessment Librarian at LU Burritt Library. I would have to say one of the best things about working here is that, first of all, the CSUs in Connecticut have the only librarians who are faculty, considered faculty. So we are able to be on the same committees with our faculty peers and work with their classes and embed ourselves in their classes and know what's going on so that we can support them properly as librarians, which is what we were trained for. One of the biggest challenges, as somebody else had said just recently, is that a lot of the students who come to CCSU have not been properly trained in research at all, don't know what a library is, literally, don't know that they can actually borrow materials from a library. So in trying to teach information literacy, which is one of our primary responsibilities, we get a little bit stuck. So yeah, but we are able to as well work with the communities. So this past summer, a lot of in fact, the entire instructional library department worked with high school students from New Britain and Bristol when they came on campus and took engineering camp courses, and we were able to be part of the research part of those courses. So that was another really great part of being a librarian here at CCSU.
I'm Nicole Sempt, and I am the professor of special education in the School of Education and Professional Studies. I've been at Central for about 16 years. And one of the things that I think is one of our strengths, you've heard several, is our teacher preparation program. You're probably familiar with the fact that we were founded as the normal school for the state, and we're still really running strong, preparing teachers primarily for Connecticut schools. I am the new director of a tripart organization that we have here at Central. I'm not sure if you're familiar with this new structure that we've had for a couple years here at Central. But it's an opportunity for us in the School of Education to partner with our colleagues in content areas as well as with our partners in school districts. So it's a tripartite structure across content area, colleagues, the School of Education, and our partner school districts. So it's a wonderful opportunity to learn and share, and it's just been a great resource. There was an independent organization called To Become a Teacher. It's tobecomeateacher.org, and they ranked us as the first, the highest rank in the state of Connecticut for preparing teachers. And probably the biggest challenge from that perspective is the challenges that also face our K-12 partners. So they have dwindling resources and increasing pressure, and we have dwindling resources and competing pressures. So it's wonderful to have that structure to sort of work together with our dwindling resources and cobble them together and sort of work shoulder to shoulder with folks to try and sort of look at how we can renew our K-12 school partners alongside of our teacher preparation programs and sort of see that common front that we all have that responsibility to all of those pieces.
Thank you very much.
I'm John Talley. I'm a professor of history. Building off a little bit of what Joan said in terms of connections that we have in the education field, that connections and service that happen in departments across the campus, not only with New Britain, but with the citizens of the state of Connecticut, is really powerful. We have a public history program where we have graduate students that are working in the historical societies and a variety of different agencies around the state. We led, the university really led the sesquicentennial commemoration of the Civil War, and that project was incredibly successful. And we have colleagues who do research projects and partner with companies and with businesses and with community leaders in the local area and around the state. And those connections serve not only the community, but they serve often the research interests of our faculty. And then we try as many ways as we can to bring our students involved in that. And those kind of connections, I think, are again, along with everything else that people have said, one of the strengths that we have.
question. A little bit different here, but this is, we've all been reading about the committee structures you have and the Senate and all the different ways there are to be involved in governance of the institution. I'm wondering, for people who are not on a committee, you know, if you're not on the IPC or you're not on the UPBC or you're not in the Senate, and I'm getting my acronyms up to speed, how do you find that your voice gets heard or doesn't get heard, and how do you receive communication? So, you know, if you're on the Senate, I assume you have access to a lot of information from the administration, maybe even from the Board of Regents. But if you're not, how do you receive communication from the people who are making decisions, and how is your input solicited by those organizations or by the administration? And maybe everyone here is on a committee and that's why you're here. I don't know.
Hi, I'm Marianne Mahoney from the History Department, and I'm past president of the American Association of University Professors here. I can't exactly answer your entire question, but I would like to say a couple of things. One is that I wanted to reinforce what people have said about the quality of the faculty here. Many work here even though they could have made more money elsewhere in the private sector or at other institutions. I came back to Connecticut from a tenure track job elsewhere because my family is from New England, and there were many people on the faculty like that. By the same token, in the last couple of years, I mean, you read the paper, I know that NEASC people have been at the legislature about the Board of Regents, and so you know some of what the controversies that have been going on in the state of Connecticut. Tenure track and part-time faculty together have come together to defend programs, to support the administration at the university in attempting to make sure that institutional voices are heard despite questions of financial concern across the state. So by the same token, departments have meetings. The union organizes monthly meetings for representatives of departments to come and share concerns. There are also monthly chats and a variety of other ways for people to be involved. So the classic way through the administrative structure is obviously through deans to departments and department meetings, newsletters, and things of that sort. But the union also provides alternative methods of communication, and if you look on the University AAUP website, you'll see people in red shirts demonstrating on behalf of budgets and attempting to make clear that we care about this institution and that we advocate for public higher education in the state of Connecticut. So, you're welcome.
Good afternoon. My name is Lisa Bigelow, and I'm the current president of the State University Organization of Administrative Faculty. So we go by the acronym SWOF. And we are the administrators that you would find in areas like the Student Support Services offices, the registrar's admissions, intercollegiate athletics, international education, and the like, about 220 of us across campus. We have the privilege of holding seats on the Faculty Senate, which is not a privilege that's afforded to our colleagues on the other campuses of the CSUS system. In some cases, they have no representation. In some cases, they're told to have a separate Senate. We really enjoy being able to work alongside with our teaching faculty peers. We are afforded the faculty status as well. So that gives us the opportunity to participate in all the dialogue that takes place in Senate. But beyond that, and I think you would have to probably go back to the most recent contract negotiations when both our union and AAUP were presented with essentially an entirely red document, just that eviscerated our past contracts and the approach that the system office was taking in negotiating that particular contract came at a time when we had a new president coming to campus, and we had the opportunity to band together as a campus community to bond with the president, I think, across campus in a way that probably wouldn't have been possible had the contract negotiations not been where they were. And while she very well may have made the same decisions regardless, she has given the opportunity for us to be at the table in all of the task forces that she has formed, all of the executive level search committees that she's formed, the work groups that are coming together to look at how various parts of campus can work more effectively. So the campus climate right now is very much a collaborative one, where information flows in both directions and people can feel comfortable, and I think that's an important word, that we can all feel comfortable to express our opinions, and some of them can be strong, but there's a real opportunity for true dialogue right now that has not been possible under past administrations, at least in my view. Thank you for listening.
Very helpful comment. Thank you.
My name is Shujui Wu, and I'm a professor at Computer Electronics and Graphics Technology in the School of Engineering, Science, and Technology. You've heard lots of from presidents, from directors, but just from a faculty member's perspective, that I do feel lots of changes. And I think I do agree that we are a student-centered community, and what we do and our efforts, lots of goes to students. And also, I'm very impressed about the interdisciplinary collaboration between different programs. My own department, that we have a master degree level collaboration with the other, with computer science. We have undergraduate collaborative cybersecurity program just passed authorization to be carried on recently also. So the collaboration needs lots of work, but I'm really happy that it goes on very well on this campus. And regarding the communication, that I have to admit that this is, comments are very true, that my personal feeling is that when something happens on the campus, you just receive the email regarding, say, we got this, we need to form committees and task forces and receive those emails from the president. Probably we received her email like so often on different things that, yeah, even on NEASC, I mean, we all get educated from her. So, which means maybe something you think, oh, the president is on these small things, but it really means a lot to us and caught our interest and participation. Well, the other thing I want to say is that I feel Central is a real thing. I mean, it has its great things. It may sometimes you have your like the up and downs, but thing that you feel that you got problem, then you got people stand up. You got administration to stand up to face the problem, try to solve it. That's great. So we got lots of such communications in the past 2 years, and it is great. Thank you.
My name is Joe Farhad. I'm the chair of the Department of Finance. I want to go back to your original question, which is the communication from faculty, committees, and backward. Each department, we have our own faculty, and we have committees at the school level, and I'm talking about the School of Business in general, and I think this applies to many other schools, as well as we have committee elected at the university level. Our faculty, when they sit a committee, they represent the department rather than themselves. So let's talk about example, something like Faculty Senate. They have an agenda which is already posted. There are bigger issues like voting material. This is where every member should go back to the department, usually during the department meeting. Every department meeting, we have actually an item where you have committee reports where every faculty sitting in a committee should tell us what's going on. In addition to a lot of emails going around, but I'm talking about your fundamental question, how we are involved in that process. So issues required voting, most of the time our member will come back to the department and say, hey, there is a resolution on the Senate, or there is something on the curriculum committee. In curriculum, it's more, I would say that we have multiple level of communication because usually curriculum owned by the faculty here. We put things from the department, goes to the faculty assembly, and I'm not talking about the Senate, that's the School of Business Faculty Assembly. This is where when a department would like to introduce something, we know what's going on. Is it going to impact me as a department? Do we have a voice before we send it to the School of Business Curriculum Committee? This also applies to other committees. So whenever there is an issue where technically you need the voice of the faculty there, we know that our members in those committees, they need to go back to the department. Not in every item, because there's so many things usually in those agendas, but issues where it's technically you need to hear everyone being involved with those are usually comes back to the department. Thank you.
Other comments from the floor? Any questions from the committee? Questions? Okay. And I think we'd like to wrap up this session. It's been very informative and helpful. Trust me, we heard your comments, and we'll incorporate those into our review. It's really helpful to hear about your deep passion and commitment to this great university, and to acknowledge that we all have these challenges right now in public higher education. Somebody reminded me last night when I said that it's across all of higher education. So we share your concerns and challenges, and we thank you for your attention. Thank you again for your hard work and your commitment to your students. Thank you.